Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome back to another edition of eHeroes for those keeping count. This is episode 398, and my next guest hasn't been with us for, I don't know, 47 episodes. I know it's not a lot, but he last appeared on episode 351. We talked about no rules. So I'm bringing back Joseph Graham from the Joseph Graham podcast. And, I think today we're just going to talk about being in the flow. And as entrepreneurs, I think that's the hardest thing because busy is not being in the flow. You know, charging what you were charging, because you don't want to charge higher. I want to lower my price and make it up in volume is not being in the flow. So we'll expand on that. And I want to welcome Joseph to the show. And I call him Joe because he's my friend. You can call him Joseph.
Joe works for me. My mom would call me Joseph when I was in trouble. And then a few jobs when I was in the day job world that I used to do, I would go by Joseph because Joe is a common name. But yeah, no, we were actually jamming before we even started, and I was thinking about it. I actually am at this point raising my rates because I want to work with quality people. I don't want to rush to the bottom because bottom has bottom feeders and problems. And if you're trying to start a business and you have limited time and resources, you need to be working with your ideal client, not with whoever will pay you the $20 for the online course that you set up that's going to didn't really cost you 150 to 200 because of all the man hours you have to work with them. So,
Yeah.
no, I'm with you on that. So,
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask you this. What do you mean by flow? Because I know I have my thoughts on it, but what do you mean by being in the flow?
For me, being in the flow is always, I think, a challenge because I wanted to force things, and even in my very first book, I shared a lot of my thoughts. Share your process, share this, share that, and sometimes we don't share our flow. Our employees or our staff or even our vendors don't know how we operate. And for me, I'm very sarcastic, but I tend to be lazy. But on the other hand, I get shit done so I can be lazy later.
Yep, yep.
And when I have clients that are constantly, texting me or calling me, it interrupts my general flow, how I do things.
Mhm.
And and I think that as an entrepreneur, we need to establish that flow in ourselves right away. How do we operate? What are the things that we want to do during the day? And is it going to interrupt our family time or our personal time, our weightlifting or whatever that you want to do when you're not working?
Mhm.
And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, there is no flow because they're working constantly. So
Yeah.
you have to have some type of system in your mind that prevents you from working nonstop.
Mhm.
And I think that's the hardest thing that entrepreneurs have to deal with. What is their flow? What is, their method of doing things? It's
Yeah.
not about SOPs. Yeah, SOPs are great. They give us an idea of how to run our business. But how do we run our life?
Mhm.
When do we say no? We're not going to do that right now. Tomorrow's another day.
Yeah.
And I still, sometimes my phone will ding. It's 8 o'clock at night. I'm enjoying a movie with my wife, and I have this instinct that I want to scroll down, read the message, fix whatever they want to fix. If it's a
Mhm.
website, why can't it wait till tomorrow? Why can't I just be in this flow that I'm in now? Why do I have to interrupt it? Why did I have to pick up my phone?
Mhm.
We allow
Yeah.
things to interrupt us, and then we don't. To me, it's disruptive.
Mhm. Well, I think we get so caught up in we want this target. We're going to hit this money thing. We're going to do this thing. And we think if we just throw work, work, work at it, we'll get there. But in reality, it's intention with preparation, with a system that works. So even when I was in the Fortune 50 companies and I was winning President Circles Award, like we were talking about before here, I'd go in at 6 because no one was there, but I would be done by like noon. And I would, the second 2 hours that I would stay, because I sold so well, they just let me go home. I could do whatever I wanted at the time. It was, I called it entrepreneur life. I had my system set up that in 6 hours, 4 hours, a lot of days, I would get everything done. I knew how many emails I needed to send. I knew how many people I needed to talk to. Basic sales stuff. I knew my numbers. So if I know my numbers and I'm charging enough that it makes sense, then
Yeah.
guess what? After 2 o'clock, I would go home, and half the time, this is funny because I'm going to date myself a little bit. Game of Thrones was out when I was working at Spectrum. It was coming out, right? And I would go on lunch and sit and watch an episode for an hour. And sometimes, because I was interested in it and I was the bestseller, I would literally just keep watching and watch a second episode. So I'd sit there for 2 hours. But guess what? They left me alone. Why? Because I knew what I needed to get done. I think as entrepreneurs, we don't always have the SOPs, like you said, or the guided systems or the belief in ourselves that stuff is going to get taken care of. When I was just doing sales, it was just me doing my selling to hand off to a project manager who took care of all the crap for me.
Mhm.
Being a business owner, training people with sales, setting up sales teams, I sell them, then I got to work with their clients and I have to have the meetings, then I have to do the trainings and I got to follow up with them and still work with the owner who I'm working with. So I think what happens is a lot of entrepreneurs, when they transition from employee to employer or solopreneur, which most entrepreneurs are solopreneurs, um, they have a hard time disconnecting because they don't really know what works for them yet. So I think that that's the first thing. You got to figure out what really works for you. Even now, I time block. I know that entrepreneurs hate that because I'm free to work 140 hours. That's the stupidest meme I've ever seen in my life. Why would I do that when I could work 40 hours and make a bunch of money for a corporation? I
Yeah.
don't care. I'm about making money and living the life I want to live, right? So as an entrepreneur, can I replicate that? Can I replicate what I was doing here with all the backing and stuff and make the money I want to do? And I think that's the thing that most entrepreneurs struggle with, because either, like you said, they work, 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 or they don't work at all and they just try to manifest, or they're the I believe money is coming to me people, but no effort. And you have to have a balance. Like I know you do. Like if I remember right, what we taught before, you work 4 to 5 hours a day, but I'm gonna assume, and you can tell me I'm wrong here, but you're intentional with it. You're not
Mhm.
scrolling on Facebook, you're not on Instagram, you're not doing some random thing. You're intentionally doing what you need to do, so that way when you have free time, you can do what you want.
Yeah, I have automated a lot of my social.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of people say, "Well, Rob, you can't do that now. You have to be intentional. You have to be authentic. You have to be real." I still post every now and then, but
Hmm.
the majority of what I have out there is auto. So it's just it goes out there. I have thousands of pieces of content.
Hmm.
Why not
Yeah.
reuse it?
Oh, that's the key right there. That I do that all the time. Like in Facebook, people are like, "Oh, this is great." And I'm like, "Yeah, that was 2022. Oh, wait, that was 2018." Because all I do, little trick, little hack for entrepreneurs, when you're going through your Facebook memories, if you ever just see them and you see a post you really like, do one of two things. Put a comment on it. Tony Watley told me this. And it will put in the algorithm. It doesn't count for your fake Facebook money, the $34 you get or $300 you get from whatever.
last
It's not
last
really
year,
worth it to me. Like
last
it's
month,
like
I
I
got
use
a
it for my
whopping
dog food.
$4.
Yeah, I use it for my dog food. Like I think it got 72 once, and I'm like, I don't even know why. I put a stupid meme up and that went somewhere. But like, anyways, I would do that, or I'll take it, and this is where I use AI because I wrote that piece of content 3 to 5 to 8 years ago. I've been on Facebook 15 years, maybe even longer.
Mhm,
But in the sales game, probably 10 years I've been posting like content, just helpful stuff. I might put it in the AI and have it rewrite it for me at that point. Fix grammar, change stuff up, improve it, and just see because it was still my original thought. I post it. Guess what? I didn't have to rewrite something. And then there's a cool thing you have with professional. I schedule post. When
mhm,
you see my Life by Design post or my sales post, 9 times out of 10, I probably did them on Saturday or Sunday when I had an hour. I was watching baseball. I had the content set up and I would write it, get it set up, get a 3 to 5 part system, and put it in the thing so that it can pop it out. Then I just schedule it and it would pop Tuesday morning, 8:05, Wednesday morning, 8:05, Thursday morning, 8:05, 3 part series, call to action at the end, like everything set up. I did that on the weekend. It's
Mhm.
still being relevant because you're still sharing your voice. You're still sharing who you are, what you're doing. I'm not going to be the guy putting in the time of this recording. Alex Hermosi took a Tony, can't remember Tony's last name, video down. The really speaker. Is it Tony? I mean, this is how out of
Well,
it I am.
there was Tony Robbins did an
Tony
interview
Robbins, yeah.
with
Alex
Hermosi,
Hermosi, yeah.
and I only know that because it was all over Facebook. I didn't watch
Yeah.
it. I have no idea what it was about, but apparently Hermosi got offended and took it down because, he was whipped in this video. Well, who cares?
The
That
only
just makes
people
you more
that care
human.
are the ones that follow. Yes. The
Tony
only
Robbins.
people that care are the ones that follow.
Yeah, well, Tony Robbins has been around for a long time. I met him in person in
Mhm.
2000 at QVC Studios. That was 26 years ago.
Yeah.
The guy knows the system. He knows how to talk to people. He knows how to pull information out. Hermosi is just this rising star that's came about over the last few years, and I don't buy his stuff. I know people who have, but you know, do I buy Tony Robbins stuff anymore? No.
No, no. But people get distracted by that. They're like, "Oh, you have to be on cutting edge." Do you know how many people, even friends of ours that I saw post and do stuff on them like, "Why? This has nothing to do with what you're doing." If someone came to your page, they're not even know what you do, and I looked at your page and half of your stuff is on other people. So you're just promoting them.
Yeah.
Tony
Well,
Robbins
and
and
same with
Hermosi won.
same with politics. I
Yeah.
had someone scheduled on this podcast about a month ago, and then I go to look at their Facebook post, nonstop political stuff, and I'm like, dude, you are brilliant. If people actually got to take, a chance to look at your stuff, they would see that you're brilliant. But I'm not going to interview you because everything that you have is hate filled drivel about, and it's like, no. And I
Mhm.
canceled. And the guy goes, "Oh, is it about my political stance?" Yeah.
Mhm.
And he goes, I don't understand why you take, not having me on. Dude, I don't need it. And here's the thing is that we as entrepreneurs need to make that choice. I
Mhm.
mean, for me, it's my podcast. I can say who's on the show, who's not on the show.
Yep.
The people that I bring on the show usually have a unique story, a way of conveying, life to other people. You do a great job of it. I mean, I watch your videos, I see your posts, and I don't do that to a lot of people that are on the show. But you're just natural at it. Some people have to work at it. Some of them I
Mhm.
have to coax because I know that they're brilliant entrepreneurs. They just haven't shown the world their true power. But I don't want them to get political. You know,
No.
I guess if I was helping politicians, oh yeah, let's do it. Let's get. I've done that already. It doesn't end well.
Mhm.
I
No.
just don't
No.
want to do it anymore.
I have a funny story. I got to tell you this story because you mentioned the political thing. So on my show, I've done 290 episodes, and I didn't even know, but it was right around the Charlie Kirk thing. So most of the time, I'm not political. If you know me pretty well, I hate both sides. I'm going to say it again. I hate both sides because I think they're both full of poop. Just is what it is. But I don't think anyone should just get assassinated for their views. I
Right.
ended up having a guy that knew Charlie Kirk. I didn't know he was a political fundraiser. Only time in my life I've ever. His name's Jeff. I can't say his last name because he's Polish. I would say it wrong, but I never have gotten so much hate in my life, even on TikTok. This is the only time I've ever reported someone because like the videos were going in and it said something about Charlie. And people were putting like just nasty stuff up. I'm
Yeah.
like, finally I actually had to report some like this is unreal. Like I try to every once in a while you see me get pissed off enough I'll say something, but normally then I just go right back to because you're not going to change the other person's view anyway. If they're a liberal, if they're a conservative, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're not, and if that's what they want to do, great. They're not going to make money. They're just going to get crappy memes or
Yeah.
crappy people commenting that's not going to buy for them.
I have to, warn a lot of entrepreneurs. Is, look, you can have a political stance. Just don't make it public on Facebook or social because here's the thing is you don't know what side your clients are on.
Right.
As soon as you take a stand, you could potentially lose 50% of your clientele.
Mhm.
Why do
Even
that?
if
And
yeah,
I
even if
made
it
that
was
mistake
easy.
in I made that
Yep.
mistake in 2009. You know, I made some off remark about Obama, and I lost a $75,000 account. That hurts.
Yeah. That hurts a lot.
Don't do it.
No. And then people disappear and you don't even realize it. Like, because you think that everyone thinks like you. Where's this human nature? We'll go into a little NLP here. We think that everyone thinks like we do. So if I make an off comment, you said about Obama, or if I make an off comment about Trump, I'll just mention both names. Someone that's going to get their panties in a wad and get hurt and upset and leave. I actually have had people reach out to me and be like, I'm not going to talk to you anymore because you made this comment. I'm like, well, I don't, what do you mean? What comment did I make? You also have to be careful, entrepreneur, on commenting on other people's posts because people can still see what you're commenting even if you don't put it on your page. So, I
Mhm.
mean, businesses should be politically agnostic unless you are very much, they're like, here's a topic that I want your thoughts on. And I know I'm going to piss a lot of my friends off on the right on this, but if you have a Christian business, I
Yeah.
probably won't buy from you because I don't believe in pimping out Jesus. And I don't like it when people all of a sudden do a lot of bad things, then come to God. And then all of a sudden I'm supposed to just buy from them because they put Christian in their title. That's my own personal thing. I am not telling people to do it. Like,
Oh, you know,
I hate that.
when I had my cleaning business from 2000 or from 1995 to 2014, 19 years, I would have a lot of people will call me up, all kinds of religions. But, the Jewish people would never call me up and say, can I get a discount because I'm Jewish? It was always, hey, I'm a Christian. Can you throw me a bone? Oh, why is it always that? It's like, okay, you
Yeah.
know, why? You know, I, I, I don't know. It's just, nobody needs to care, you know? If I'm doing work for a church, okay, I'll give you a discount. But yeah, a person right off the street that just says, "Hey, I'm so and so," I would never rip you off. Just because you say you never rip me off, you're the first person who probably rip me off.
Yeah. If you have to tell me that, then that's something I should be worried about with you. Because again, it's human nature. People tell on themselves. And then also, people, I think it's a mentality of, well, you have to do this. There's a lot of charlatans. So, oh, because you're a Christian, you have to be nice. So you have to give me. No, I don't need to give you anything.
Yeah,
There's nothing in that statement. In fact, I'm going to charge you double if you ask me for one.
yeah,
Only because of that. Like, now, maybe if I lived in a Muslim country and there's a bunch of Muslim, I'd be saying the same thing about them. Maybe the same thing about Hindu. I don't know. It's just, our culture is predominantly Christian, but like, I don't know. Like, have you seen that trend though lately? Like, all these entrepreneurs now are finding Jesus,
yeah.
but 3, 4 months ago, they were a super spiritualist ayahuasca coach. And I'm
Mhm.
like, cool. I'm not saying that they didn't find Jesus. Don't hear what I'm not saying. But I am saying that sometimes people will jump on a marketing trend of what is hot
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
And there is a trend back toward Christianity in US culture right now with more of younger people. So it's just really
Oh,
weird
I've
to
been seeing
see the shift.
commercials on YouTube about, we're Christian this and we're going to teach you how to be a Christian that, and I've never saw those commercials before ever, except this month. Now
Yeah.
there's like every other video, and I'm like, so
We're,
now, yeah,
we're making it retail.
yeah, Jesus
We're
in it
making
is
it
in the
retail.
marketing now. So yeah,
Yeah,
um,
last I checked, he flipped tables when people were screwing people. I don't think he would be too happy about this one.
yeah, uh, it's funny because the other day, and we talk about price,
Mhm,
you know, and LinkedIn seems to be that circus that we want to be fascinated with. We want to make money with it, but we also are like, wow, there's so many charlatans on this thing. I've been watching the same set of people. I won't name names. It's just not who what I'm
mhm,
about. But I've watched these same people lower their price, go from $3,000 for their system down to 1999 to 1,400. Now it's seven. Now it's three. Soon they'll just be giving it away, and it's like, do you see what you're doing? You're devaluing your whole thing. If you would say, look, it's $3,000. This is what you get. This is the
mhm.
value I bring to the table. I'm going to hold your hand through the whole thing. More people would probably buy it.
Yes,
But now you
100%.
just devalued it down to a couple bucks and now you're peddling it like it's I don't know, it's just
Mhm.
terrible to watch.
Well, it's sales is a made up number, but people have to understand you position yourself in the marketplace. People buy an iPhone because they know it's valuable and they'll spend a certain amount on it. Other people buy a Google phone because they know it's valuable and spend a certain amount on it. But you could also buy like a Sonum rugged flip phone that's cheap.
Mhm,
What do you want to be classified as? Do you want to be classified with value? Or do you want to be classified with cheap?
mhm,
I mean, if you want to be cheap, great. Don't go into consultative sales. Just find a product.
yeah,
Sell this little widget. Like I'm playing with a little spinny widget thing. I think we paid 25 cents for this. My daughter likes them. I need things to distract myself, and sometimes it helps me just calm my center. Um, but people just get so like, I paid 25 cents for this. Someone else might pay $1. Someone else might pay $5. Why? Because it's a made up value.
mhm,
But if it's a made up value, then you determine your value. Are you going to be a $5,000 person? Are you going to be whatever? And if I ever discount every once in a while, I'm like, oh, I feel like doing it. I did it recently. I'm like, I normally have fix your sales call. You get an hour of my time for $500.
mhm.
First five people, I'm going to give it to for $333
Well,
because I feel like it. But then I'm going to come back and after it's up, it's $500 again. Half the time I'm charging people $1,000 to $2,000 to $3,000 to work with me now.
yeah,
It's the same thing. It's what value do you bring?
yeah, and I have, you know, 1 hour consulting, it's like 1,500 bucks, and people are like, "Well, Rob, it's a little high. Can
That's
you
not.
give it to me any cheaper?" "Well, yeah, sure, but it's gonna be like a 10-minute call, and you're gonna pay 500 bucks."
Hmm.
And then they're like, "What?" And now they're trying to do the math,
Yeah.
and, look, I can give it to you cheaper, but you're gonna get less time.
Hmm.
There's
But
a
you
give
have
and
30
take.
years of experience.
Mhm.
Like you literally have been in business and in sales since the 90s, dude.
Yeah,
You have a wealth of knowledge and they want you just to give it to them.
yeah, yeah,
It's unreal.
yeah,
And the
and
cheaper clients suck.
well, and I'm not saying that we're all smart as we get older, because some of us aren't. Some of us have
That's true.
repeated the same year over and over and over again. "Oh, I got 25 years experience." Yeah, but you did it one time and you repeated it. So you
Yeah.
really didn't learn nothing, you know?
Yeah.
But I've been doing this, and I've had my agency now for 25 years.
Hmm.
I've produced 70 plus books, almost 400 episodes on the show. I think I've learned a few things,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
But then you have these I don't even know what Gen Z or whatever generation we have now, 5 seconds out of high school, they're a life coach.
Hmm.
What the hell kind of life you teaching? You didn't even experience anything,
How to
and
graduate high school for 1999.
and it's like, ugh. And then you have these people that yeah, I was watching somebody and my daughter's 37, this other person's 38. So they're a year older than my daughter. And they're teaching, marketing. Okay, great. You understand marketing, but they're telling people they understand the human behavior, human psychology. And I'm watching their posts, and their posts are cursing at people, and they're doing this, and all they're doing is saying, "Look at me, give me your attention."
Hmm.
And then you look at their pricing, and you're like, "There's no value." They're
Hmm.
charging 300 bucks for whatever, and that's their top charge. It's like you got to charge more.
Yeah.
You really do.
300 bucks. Like, you know what I think it is? Let's talk about this because entrepreneurs run into this problem. A lot of people I talk to don't value what they have. So, like, and I'll use myself as an example. When I first started doing any consulting 4 or 5 years ago, I charged like $100 or $200. And this is after I had been winning President Circles Award, talking to multi-million-dollar corporate, multi-billion corporation CEOs, selling them. And I was afraid to charge you $100, Rob, because in my head I was like, "Well, this is easy. This is simple." I think you need to realize my wife, I always give her credit for this. She says to me, she goes, "What's simple to you is not simple to them. It's just simple to you. You need to charge what you're valued." And what I found is the more that I charge, the more that they actually are engaged and the more results they get. And what clientele do you want to work with? I'd rather work with the one that I'm paying or that's paying me 5 to 10,000 a month.
Mhm.
They don't ask as many questions. They come in, they go, "Hey, I need this. Can you help me fix my follow-up system?" Boom, boom, boom. We're done in 10 minutes. Cool, great. They don't care about the hour. They care about the results. It's a person that likes, you need to make me a selling system. Well, what do you have in place? Nothing. Well, what are you selling? I don't know. You're supposed to help me with that. I can't help you figure out what you need to sell. You have to have the product and the solution. I can set up a system once you have that. But if you don't know what you're selling, how can I help you?
Right,
So I think
and
there's
and,
two things. Yeah.
if you're a consultant or if you have a service-based business, do not charge by the hour, because your clients will look at that and say, "Well, wait a minute, you're charging 50, 100, 200, whatever it is you charge per hour." And they will base that on, "Okay, well, you only did 3 hours of work on me. You only did this, you only did," and so they're gonna try to undercut the value,
Hmm.
but if you price it by the job, you price it by the project, and that project takes you 3 hours, but you've built into it so that, it could be a 40-hour job to you.
Hmm.
You're making so much more money and the client can't comprehend, the
Hmm.
hourly rate because it's a project time. It's not an hourly time.
Yeah.
And these or you invoice every time you do something for somebody. Well, do that. Let's
That's
I'm gonna have
annoying.
a client that I'm
Yeah.
working with. They would go out and service a client, and their fee was like, it was a flat fee, $150. And so they would send the client $150 or an invoice for 150,
Hmm.
and then they would wait 30, 60, 90 days to get paid. And I said, "Is this something that you do frequently?" And they said, "Yeah, we help these clients a lot." Okay, then let's reframe the pricing. So
Hmm.
it's either they pay 6 sessions up front,
Hmm.
okay, or you go 26 weeks or 52 weeks that way. And they're
Hmm.
like, we gotta figure out how to sell this thing because everybody's used to paying per service.
Hmm.
I'm like, well, first of all, you got to jack the prices up. So a 6 session is now $1,100 up front.
Hmm.
And they're like, well, that's almost $200. Yeah, it's more money. And they're trying to,
Hmm.
so I wrote a script and gave it to them. And they are selling more 6 sessions than they ever did.
100%.
They're
Yes.
selling 52 weeks. They're selling 20. And I said, look, for the 26 and the 52-week one, you can't get the whole thing because it's a whole year, but you can get quarterly. It's all
Hmm.
up front. And so now
Yeah.
they're getting paid up front. They're not waiting. And a lot of clients, I mean, not a lot of clients, a lot of entrepreneurs get into this mindset where you have to deliver the service first and then wait to get paid. Oh shit, you're not the bank. Get paid up front.
I did. I guess I just did it wrong because I never done that. I'm like, until you pay me, I do nothing.
Yeah,
Because if I'm training you, I can't get that back if you decide not to pay me. If I send
right.
you a widget, you can send me my widget back.
Yeah,
But like anytime I like the last client I just worked with, it was 4 grand for 4 sessions. I trained 2 people, and
yeah,
in reality, we were done in 2.5. And I said, hey, I even did a couple check-ins. They're like, look, I'm already done. These people are good. He's like, yeah, I see that they're increasing. I'm like, just save that one. When you run into a problem later on, reach out to me and I'll give you an hour because I told you I would do X. It's just making up the thing that makes sense for them. Like
mhm,
I think so many times yeah, don't reach out to me to unless you're a really good friend of mine. Don't reach out to me to pick my brain because I will be like, okay, cool, it is X. And it depends on my mood that day and what you're trying to get me away from. If I'm really having a fun day and want to do stuff and you want to bug me, it's going to be $2,500 to get an hour of my time that day. If
mhm,
I'm like kind of like, I kind of like it, it might be 1,000. It might be five. I don't know. It's going to depend on my mood and how you approach me. But quit giving away your time for free because now it's not valuable.
right.
Your content is what should draw them in. Your content is what should hook them so that then they're like, shit, Rob knows more about this than I do. I need help. Rob,
Yeah.
how do I work with you? That's the better option than the, okay, sure, Rob, I'm going to help you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to get all done. Oh, we did this. We did 4 hours. Great. I'll send you the invoice. and then I got to wait 90 days after I already gave you the value. You get 90 days of value from me without paying? No, that's whoever taught them that is stupid.
Yeah, yeah, and it makes businesses fail very quickly if they don't get
Mhm.
paid.
Well, it's a
So
hobby then.
it's we have to change the way we do things as entrepreneurs. And I used to do a lot of things on a handshake, and I still do but I'm very cautious on who I'm shaking hands with now.
Yep.
And you know, I understand that there's a lot of entities out there. They'll say, hey, especially lawyers will say, you best have a contract. A lot of my clients are lawyers. I've never had a contract with them.
Hmm.
I remember saying, oh, wow, that's kind of stupid, isn't it? Because, what if they try to sue you? I've never been sued only because I deliver the value. I do what I say I'm going to do, and I give them an ROI that comes back and it's making them money.
Hmm.
That's the fact I always tell you, look, if you're not really happy with my service after 90 days, you're done. You're out. You can go wherever you want to go.
Hmm.
But I get that 90 days up front because
Yeah.
I need to be able to have, like you said, a lot of these consultants will do a 90-day thing. They'll do it. Yeah, and then the first month, the client will say, "Well, Rob, I'm just not making the money. You promised me X.
Hmm.
There's no
And it's going to
ROI
take
yet.
time.
I'm still building your foundation. It's going to take
Hmm.
time." Yeah, and most of my clients will see that return on investment within 90 days. The end of the 90 days, they're starting to see it. They see the
Hmm.
progress. They're starting to recoup the money that they paid me. But it takes time to revamp their marketing, to get that marketing out there. But we
Yeah.
live in this rapid deployment world where everybody wants instant action, instant results. Rob, it's been 3 seconds. Your marketing should be working. How come I'm not making money? I'm gonna punch you in your
Yeah.
face. No, it's not how it works. Yeah, and you just want to strangle someone over the phone, and you
Hmm.
can't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is why I get paid up front.
Hmm.
Um,
When I tell them that, I'm like, look, the work you do now, depending on what you're selling, will show up 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or a year. What level of client are you working with? What price point are you going in? And how much equity or not equity, how much reserves do you have to be able to get there? Because
mhm,
if you're coming at a 20, 30, 40, $50,000 price point, you're 6 to 9 months for most deals.
mhm,
Most of the time, you have to build the value, the trust, and all. If you're coming in at a lower one, like say 1,000, 2,000, it could be 2 3 months. If
yeah,
you're doing something cheap, 500 or less. So I do say, hey, have different tiers of service. Have an entry tier where they can get a little taste. Have like your middle tier, which is where most people fall, and then have your executive tier where the people that really want to get into Rob's world or Joe's world or whatever and get the super details, they can get access. And
mhm,
at that point, and then you just give the attention to the top tier first, then the mid tier, and then your bottom tier, because your bottom tier knows, hey, I'm paying the least, I'm going to get the least attention. But you have to know your numbers. You have to know what is your time frame. That's
mhm,
another thing. People think they build a product and it will come, like the Field of Dreams. That's bullshit. That's
yeah,
never happened. You can't just build a project if no one. You're a marketer, you know this. If no one knows about you, they're not going to care. They're not going to buy it. They're not going to do anything. You know how
mhm,
long it took for me to buy this cup in Hawaii? It's Kauai coffee. I love Kauai coffee. I used to buy coffee from them. I don't now because they got more expensive. I used to buy coffee from them all the darn time. And I finally, when I was in Hawaii for one of my wife loves Hawaii. You know this. We're always going there. I finally bought one. But do you know how many times I walked into their shop? Because I've been to Hawaii about probably past 10 years, probably about 7 times. I walked into that shop 6 other times. I saw different coffee cups, different things. And I finally, last time I walked in, I saw that cup. I picked it up. I'm like, I want this cup. I
mhm,
had to have that much exposure. And I'm using something simple. Just walking in, them seeing a little bit of exposure. And it took me 7 years to buy that cup. Now, was I buying other things from them? Yeah, but the cup I didn't buy until last year.
yeah. Well, I love Disney World. I go there
Yep.
frequently, and the last couple times I've been there, I mean, I used to every visit buy a hat, buy a shirt. You know, uh, the last few times I visited, no hat, no shirt. My wife's like, "What's wrong with you?" "Yeah, I'm looking for something particular,"
Mhm,
you know? And every time I go to a shop in Disney, and there's plenty of gift shops all around,
mhm.
it's just they always have this dated stuff. I don't want something with a date on it. I want it evergreen. I want it so if I wear it in now or you know, 5 years from now, I don't want it to say 2026.
Right,
My
right.
kids have stuff that says 2019 and 20 it's like,
Yeah, that's like if you're in high school. I
yeah,
got you.
I don't want that. And so, I look for stuff that's very particular that has a personality, and lately I just haven't found it. I know it's
Mhm.
out there somewhere. Um, but I'm
I'm with
always
you.
in the moment. I go into a store, oh, it's not there. I keep walking.
Mm.
Instead of everybody's like spend 6 hours in a gift store. There's more stuff to do. Just
Yeah, I'm
go.
not at Disney to be at the gift store. Now, like the last time we went, which was a few years ago, we need to go again. There was a Star Wars shirt and it said class of 77. I was born in 77. It had like the Emperor, Darth Vader, and all the different ones on. So I bought that because that was a unique type of thing. But like you, I'm not going to buy Disney World 1998 or 2025 Disney World. Like
Yeah.
I do that for my half marathons because that was a race and that's what the medal says. But
Mhm.
no, I'm with you. I think it's just again finding what works for you and enjoying it. But we've also talked about different things here that most entrepreneurs don't even get to experience because most entrepreneurs I've run into just got themselves a new job and they're their own employer. With you and me, you go to Disney all the time. I go to Hawaii. I'm working on going to New Zealand to run a half marathon through the Lord of the Rings thing because I love that stuff. Like I'm a nerd in that regard. I will go spend money on that all day long. I won't spend money on a well, I will spend money on a car, but I won't go buy a fancy car because I don't care. Like I don't like them enough. I have a Rab that I paid off because for me, a vehicle that drives from point A to point B and I'm happy with it is good.
Yeah.
But other people, they would need to have the McLaren. I was just at Club Scottsdale here in Phoenix. My buddy Sean Finnegan. I'll have to introduce you. Really cool dude. Um, he had a thing there. There's a bunch of exotic cars, and all these guys were like drooling over. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
but I understand for them, it's great. I think
Well,
it's just
when I
finding
was
what
when
your
I was
passion is.
17, my dream car was a convertible Ford Mustang, you know, probably in the 19 early 70s. I got old enough, I had the money, and
Mhm.
I found one and I thought, "No, it's like 50 years old. Not gonna find the parts." And I bought a 2018 Buick Enclave because the family could
Mhm.
enjoy it. We get 7 people in it, and it got great gas mileage, and it's new, and, so you have to make choices, and we make
Yeah.
choices every day as an entrepreneur, and it's like, the things I liked when I was 17 aren't practical right now.
No, no. No, but I will. I'll be honest. I would drop a bunch of money to go on a trip to get an experience because I love that. That like lights me up. Like you at Disney. You go to Disney
Mhm.
all the time. Disney's not cheap.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're not going and staying in the cheap hotels. I know you well enough. You're going at least staying in a nicer
Well,
resort, doing the fun
and
stuff.
we have the whole embrace the magic,
Hmm.
immersive that we take entrepreneurs to, and the last one we rented an Airbnb outside of the Disney bubble because I wanted everybody to feel, that we were all together, right?
Hmm.
There are brilliant hotels and resorts at Disney World, and I would love for everybody to stay there. Here's the problem: when you take an event or you have an event there, and you have a lot of people at your event, you want them in the same place.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it's like herding cats, and you're waking everybody up at 6 o'clock. Oh,
Yep.
you're in this room, and you're in this room, and you're in. I don't want that.
Hmm.
I want everybody in the same house. We're ready to go. Jump in the car, gone.
Yep.
And we had a great time, and we explored a lot of VIP stuff that normal guests don't get to do. You
Hmm.
know, we went behind the scenes of Animal Kingdom and took their wild Africa trek. We got harnessed in these things where you have to go across this what is it? But you walk across this ravine and you're on
Hmm.
this like looks like a kind of a broken bridge and you gotta walk
Oh, fun.
and you're
Yep.
looking down and it's like 40 feet down. There's alligators and elephants, and that was exciting. It was cool and it was different.
Mhm.
You know, we got to go. A friend of mine got us into lunch at Club 33. You know, a very exclusive club at Disney World, and I brought speakers in, and I all the dinners I covered, and
Mhm.
so we went. We had steak dinners, we had African dinners, we had all kinds of dinners, and people just loved it.
Mhm.
And it's an experience,
Yeah.
but you start to learn how Disney is different. Not Disney corporate, Disney World, because it's probably the largest classroom of real world marketing experience that you're going to get, you know, just walking through an amusement park. And
Mhm.
and people don't get it. They just, oh, it's just rides. It's just characters. It's just food. No, it's the
It's a
big
lot
picture.
more. Yeah.
And so you look at how they're doing it, and Disney isn't cheap, and they
No.
don't purport to be cheap,
Mm.
you know. But people go back year after year after year. They get annual memberships. They get this. They get that. They even buy homes on Disney property that are millions of dollars.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so Disney has developed a way to capture the high end clientele, the low end clientele, you know, and like you said, they put it into tiers.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what every entrepreneur needs to do. Create an experience that people want to keep coming back, develop it in tiers so that they can choose what adventure they want to take with you. And nothing has to be cumbersome. You don't have to worry about this, you don't have to worry about that. I think we as entrepreneurs, we overcomplicate things.
Mhm.
You know, I just made a video this morning about my experience using a phone app with one of my favorite restaurants, and I won't name names, but the app was glitchy as hell.
Mhm.
And at the very bottom, it says, call this number if you have problems. I call the number. It walks me through these prompts. I get to where I thought I was going. And then it says, if you have questions, go to the app,
Sorry.
like a circle jerk. It's like, this isn't working. And
Yep.
that's where you want human, a connection. Somebody, just, hey, your phone's glitchy. What can I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and we
And
don't do
with
that.
that, so I have this question for you because you're talking about customer journey now. Like, I always look at it this way: marketing gets their attention, sales welcomes them home, but the implementation and the customer journey is where the real magic happens. Did marketing and sales deliver what they said they could do? And I think so many entrepreneurs get caught up in marketing or sales, they forget about their customer's journey. What is their experience? What is their thing? Like, I remember I went to Disney World with my family, and I'm into Viking stuff, right? And I'm thinking I think it's in Epcot where they have all the
Yeah.
different stuff.
The
We're walking around,
Norwegian, the Norway.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw that, I was like, holy crap. I was more geeked out about the silly little Epcot Viking thing than about some of the cool, epic, like Star Wars rides. And it's just funny because they had the ability to make you just get immersed in that world.
Mhm.
And that I agree with you. We need to immerse our clients and customers in our world to fulfill their needs because guess what? Then they'll come back. Or
Yeah.
guess what? Then they'll actually refer people and it makes your life easier.
Well, one of the things I do not like, we are humans. And yes, we've developed marketing and sales, but we've commoditized humans into our pipeline. I hate the word pipeline. Pipeline sounds like it came out of some industrial,
Hmm.
product. Our clients are our friends. They are our lifeline. They are the thing that make our business worthwhile,
Hmm.
and we diminish them into a pipeline. And yet you go to LinkedIn and everybody's selling you a system that puts your clients in a pipeline. Oh, we'll make your pipeline full.
Yeah.
Uh, First of all, I don't call it a pipeline. It's insults my clientele.
Yeah. And what makes them money instead of human, just like prospect, same word.
Mhm.
I use it in trainings to get people understand it. Prospecting for gold. I'm trying to get money from them instead of this is my client. I'm helping them and they're paying me for the value I bring.
Mm.
It's a little reframe. And when you get into high ticket sales or you get into higher level sales, you better understand that now this is not a prospect. This is a client you're bringing value to. And if you bring enough value, they'll buy because if you treat them like a prospect or a part of your pipeline, they're going to feel it and they're going to be like, I run a $1 billion company. I'm
Yeah.
not dealing with your crap.
Yeah.
Like you can do the little prospect thing for the, I hate to say it this way, but for the, 1995 customer.
Yeah.
But if you're having real clients and solving real needs and stuff, yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. It's for me, I tend to like my Disney Embrace the Magic immersive. I try to have it small groups,
Hmm.
under 10. And people are like, "Well, Rob, all these gurus are packing houses with thousands of people." I've been to those events.
Hmm.
They're a pain in the ass.
Yep.
And you walk out of there thinking, "What the hell did I just learn? Nothing." You know, I gain more information in a hallway with about 3 people,
Hmm.
and that's where I get a lot of my clients from, because they don't wanna be in this giant room filled with recycled content. They
Yeah.
want friendship. They want understanding. They want just someone to listen.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so you take small groups like that, and they're more inclined to pay attention. They're more inclined to be your friend forever.
Hmm.
They'll, call you up. "Hey, Rob, I really enjoyed that. This is what I wanna happen. Can you make it happen?" "Yeah,
Hmm.
no problem." Now you're f and my philosophy is always friends first, clients second. So, I'm
Hmm.
gonna bend over backwards to make sure that, you're always happy. And even if
Yeah.
you're not a client, I will answer your call.
Hmm.
But
Same.
that's always worked for me. I know that, I've been in sales before, I've been in marketing my whole life. I just try to make the process as easy as possible.
Hmm.
One of the things that really irks me lately is I've been watching a lot of these car negotiation videos on YouTube where the salesman is presence is power. You need to be in our showroom to get a good price. First of all, this is the internet. This is 2026. I should just be able to call you and get a price. And if I like it, I'll come buy the vehicle.
Hmm.
I shouldn't have to come into your studio or your showroom for 3 hours for you to try to negotiate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's why the auto industry is changing.
Hmm.
Every industry that we're in, we need to treat customers better.
Hmm. It's how you win. It's how you win in AI too, because the human connection is there.
Mhm,
I've actually shifted. Like I typically, I won't say that I will never, but I don't like big crowds anyway. I typically, if I go to an event, it's 100 people or less.
mhm,
I do a lot of networking events, like local events, like even here in Phoenix. Like there's a thing called, I think it's called Alignable, and there's like just local business people, not the business chamber of commerce. I know that one's good, whatever, but like just local business people. Like we went to I don't know if it was like a happy hour where you just can meet people. And
mhm,
I got more clientele and people from that and referred people and did stuff because guess what? There was no pressure. There was no one on stage trying to sell me. Well, rephrase it. They had like a 10-minute thing where some girl that did Aflac did do a presentation because they sponsored the thing. But when you go to the event, you're going to have to listen to 10 minutes. I can deal with 10 minutes. When I
mhm,
went to my buddy Sean here in Phoenix, there was one company that bought the food, so they got 5 minutes of a 2 hour thing of 100 entrepreneurs. That's the one you saw where I was sitting at that table. I don't know if you saw on that white couch. That was that same event.
mm,
Um, Super fancy place. And I was talking to people that like one dude's from China and he's trying to get a presence here now in the US. And I'm making all these connections. I'll listen to someone for 5 minutes. Doesn't mean I got to buy them. But
right.
those, you're going to have closer connection, less people to have to deal with. And then he broke us into groups and we had to talk to people about who we are, what we could do, and how we could help and have one ask. And they had to do it too. And it's funny to see entrepreneurs who are trying to close learn to ask for help. It is the funniest thing because they want you to think they have it all in there. But I'm like, and you know me, I will pester people and I read people for a living. I would just ask the questions. Kid next to this, do this AI stuff, and I just started hammering him. And he's like, but guess what happened? I saw the old dude in the corner that owned the business listening. He goes afterwards, he goes, you answered him really well. Let's talk. I might have a deal for you.
Mhm.
But, and I was doing this kid a favor. This kid was like 26, 27. He had a suit on, but you could tell he was young and green. I know saying 26, 27 is young and green, but I'm 49, so I can get away with it. But I was just like, okay, well, why is your AI, does it connect at the human level? Can they tell us AI? What if I asked it this? What if I said this? And all of a sudden, he was on his game with it. And then this older gentleman that owned, I don't remember what type of business he owned, pulled him over. And a little bit later, he comes and he goes, thank you. Because I was willing to ask him the hard question because you had to be prepared in the moment and you don't know who's listening.
Yeah, I had a potential client on the phone, and I asked him a question, and I guess it was just one of those. I thought it was just common sense questions, right? But to him, it was such oddball question. Why would somebody be so arrogant to ask it? He ended the call.
Well, not your client.
I was like, okay, that was, and that told me everything I wanted to know.
Mhm.
It wasn't a good fit. He didn't know the answers. He wasn't confident in his ability. And, early on in that conversation, I asked him, where do you market now? Where are your clients coming from? And he says, Facebook Marketplace. And I'm like, what the? You're supposed to be this high end product and you're putting it on Facebook Marketplace.
But that's what the gurus say, Rob. The
Yeah.
gurus tell me if I just post 3 times a day, one is a funny meme, one is long form, one is short form in a video, I'm good. And people would just throw money and girls will drop their panties and everything will be great. That's a guru pitch. And then you get the guy that's tried it 4 different times, and you're like, bro, you did this with all of these already. Why are you doing this again? Because Guru X said so. I'm like, Guru X is only making money because you're foolish enough to buy from them.
Yeah. And, you know, here's the only time I'm going to drop a name: Gary V. I don't watch his shit. I don't endorse his shit. I don't care what he posts. But it's funny because I can always watch his disciples post the same shit 5 minutes after he's posted it, and it's everything's copy paste, copy paste, copy paste.
Mhm.
Dude, why can't people be original? Why can't
Yeah.
they just form their own content? I don't copy paste anybody,
Yeah.
and I've been doing this for a long time.
But they're not used to being original. And what they don't realize is that Gary got handed a business. His father owned a wine, I think it was a wine company or a liquor store, and he built it in the early days of YouTube, and that's where he made his real money. And
Mm,
then now he has the stuff that he does, and he gets business owners to invest in him. But he was given a gift that most people don't. Most of us didn't have daddy give us stuff. Most of us didn't have daddy have a business that we could test our stuff on. And most of the time, people don't even care. He got like just people in the hype age to like watching him walk around and talk to people. I got better things to do. Have I watched him before? Yes. Have I watched other people before? Yes. Because I used to like Grant Cardone when I was young, didn't know anything about sales. Yeah, entry level sales was great. But I don't do his sales stuff now. I'm not like, come on, man, buy. Like, I'm not the used car salesman guy now.
yeah,
I've elevated, I've grown, I do my own content, I do my own stuff. I'm sure there's people that copy me, and I'm sure there's people who go, like, how does this guy sell anything to anyone? He's a goofball.
yeah.
Or he's this or he's that. Like, I'll I don't know. I do weird stuff. Like I'll walk into a room that you're supposed to dress up in, and I will be in jeans and a t-shirt. Then I go into a room that you're supposed to be in jeans and a t-shirt. I'm going to wear dress clothes just because I am not going to follow what rules you tell me. I know that's not. This is not guru advice. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm telling you to be authentically you,
Mhm.
not follow what I'm doing. But I will. I'll do different weird stuff because I want to pattern break them. I want them to understand that it's not always about the packaging, but the value that comes with it or what you're doing. And attention is value. That's why the Hermosi thing popped because everyone's trying to write off his attention. But in reality, all you're doing is giving Hermosi attention. They're not going to think about you if you posted about Hermosi.
Yeah,
They're going to think about
and
Hermosi.
I was surprised that all these people who bought Hormozy's book because he had this promotion. "Oh, buy 10 of my books, buy 100 of my books, buy this, buy that." And people would do that, and they would go broke
Yeah.
because they got this book, they got this now, and what they were told to do is give these books away. Great. Now all these
But
people have his books. Hormozy's making bank.
mhm.
He doesn't give a shit about you.
No.
And it's like all these people fell for it. And
Yeah.
people are like, "Well, Rob, you could have done the same thing." Yeah, I could have, but I didn't
Why?
because I
But
don't
why
want
would
those types of
you?
people.
Yeah. What is, how is it, explain to me this? 'Cause you're a marketing guy. I didn't understand. I'm a sales guy, but I didn't understand this. You paid for the shipping for the books so that you could give his books away. So you just paid him to market his stuff, is where my mind would go with this deal, because I'm getting nothing from this. I'm paying $800 in shipping for 400 books, but I can tell you, Rob, I, I got Hormozy's book. You can
Yeah,
have it for free because I paid for it. Okay, and it's $100 million marketing or whatever. I don't remember, $100 million offer.
I
It's
had
$100 something.
I
But the
probably
thing
had about
is,
3 dozen people offer me his book, and I'm like, "No, I don't want it."
no, yeah, yeah. I had people offer me a too. I'm like, he just made his money off his book. You're not going to get a million people to show up to a webcast so that they can buy your book to do it. How does this help your business? So, rule one, let's go back to business and thinking about what makes sense and getting into flow, because we're talking about that. Promoting other people's great. I promote Rob at times. You'll see me promote other people on my page. That's cool. But I'm promoting them because I want them to win. It's nothing to do about me. When you're doing your business and you're doing marketing, sales, promoting, it has to be intentional for your ideal client to see it so that you can draw them in, so that you can make money to provide for your family and give them value. That's basic business sales and marketing. Promoting everyone else, standing up, doing a unicorn thing, doing all these weird things doesn't matter. I had a reel. Let's talk about this real quick. I know we're running over, but who cares? Whenever you tell me to stop, I will. I had a reel that got 42,000 views for my buddy Aaron Hale, which I love him. Great dude, Marine, or not, I don't remember if you're Marine. He was a bomb guy that got blown up in, I think, Afghanistan. He was on my show. He just did Kilimanjaro. He's blind and deaf, has the cochlear thing in his ear so he
Mm,
can hear. He ran from Kenya all the way up the hill. I had 42,000 people, not on this one, but on the last one, comment on one of his videos. Okay, it went viral. But what did it do for me? Not much, because it was just on the podcast. It got me some more podcast views, which is great. But that wasn't something that I was monetizing or doing stuff. But everyone's like, oh, just do the right video, do the right thing. I would have rather, and I love Aaron Hale. He's a good friend of mine. I'm happy this happened for him, so don't hear him not saying. I would have rather been one of my sales video got 42,000, because guess what? I would have gotten clients. I would have gotten people that would invest and want to buy into my products, my services, and stuff. So going viral isn't always key either. It's going viral with the right piece of content that actually benefits you. My friend Brian Bogart had the same thing. 3 or 4 different videos that blew up. Some were over 100,000. One was, I asked him a question and it blew up. I think over 100,000, but it wasn't something that monetized for him.
yeah.
And again, it's figuring out, well, what can I actually monetize with?
A long time ago, I told people that, don't trade dollars for dimes, and that's
Hmm.
exactly what happens when you make these videos to go viral. You're trading your huge consulting fee to get dimes from YouTube or
Hmm.
Facebook, and or you say, "Oh, I'm gonna put this great video," which is just could be, could be about your product, could be about you, could be whatever it is. You put it on YouTube in hopes that you get monetization. The video itself is supposed to enlighten your client so that they buy from you.
Hmm.
It's not for the sole purpose of you making money off an ad that runs underneath your video.
Yeah.
And
No,
I
thank
think
you.
people forget that. They're like, well, I'm going to make these videos so I can make money on YouTube. Video is not that.
You don't make enough money off of that. Like we talked about this before. $34 is what I average on Facebook because I post a lot of content. I use it for my dog food. I pulled my content in a little bit more in detail to my sales stuff, which made my views go down. So I think it dropped it to $8, but I got the $4,000 client. I would take a $4,000 client every month over the $34
That's
from
right.
Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whoever. I let them pay me money. I'm not going to tell them no, but that's not my intent when I'm online. That's not my intent when I'm doing a video or I'm walking through my neighborhood or I'm doing a training or any of that. That's never my intent. My intent is to bring my ideal client to me to understand. And here's the other thing, and I think you've probably run into this too. A lot of times, the people that hire me never comment on a post.
Right.
They never do anything there. They just reach out to me quietly on a DM and say, "Hey, can you help me with X?" And they're normally the best clients.
Oh, every single one of my clients is like that. And because they don't, I'm not saying they don't understand social. I think it's the fact is that they just don't want to comment. They just don't want, they just scroll.
Mhm.
They're looking for something particular, not necessarily to be seen or be heard. They just, I found one client, he never even listened to my videos, only because I have the words that show up.
Mhm.
And he's like, "I've read so many of your videos. I followed along." And so we had a Zoom call. He goes, "This is the first time I'm hearing your voice." And I just laughed. I'm like, "Really? Got like 1,000 videos. This is the first time
Yep.
hearing."
Yep.
But and that's exactly why you add those captions,
Mhm.
because you don't know if someone's how they're watching your video.
Eighty
They could
percent.
They could
Eighty
be at
percent.
work, they can't see, I
Yep.
mean, they're not allowed to have headphones, they can't have music or whatever,
Mhm.
let them read it.
80%. Like literally, they say 80% is read on caption. Every video I do has captions,
Yeah,
and then they can put their own voice that they want to associate you with, which might be more cooler than your voice. You never know.
right.
Like
Oh,
they hear your voice, like what?
well, a lot of times I'll put videos on 2 times speed because, I'll put them in the background, I'll listen while I'm doing work,
Yep.
and
Yep.
then I meet that person in real life, and I'm thinking, "What is wrong with you? Why are you talking so slow?"
You are talking like this. What is going on?
"Speed it up." So,
I do that too. Yeah.
but here's the thing that drives me, and this will be the last thing that we talk about. I know that there's a lot of people out there that want to promote their stuff, and I get it. Great. But don't promote your stuff to people with the end game of paying them a referral fee.
Hmm.
I don't live for referral fees. And most times I will refer you to somebody because I value their service. I won't even accept a referral fee because
Hmm.
I don't want that money tied to the point where someone says, "Oh, you only referred me to them because you wanted the money."
Yeah. Yep.
I don't want the money. I want you to have the best service.
Hmm.
And so people out there, I get it. You want more business, but referral fees don't do it. They really don't.
No, they actually push people away. Like
Mhm.
I've tried to give people money on stuff, and then I don't get referrals from the people that I've offered it to. I think in my 5 years of doing this, I've done referrals. I've given 4 referrals away, and I was doing like 10%. And half the time, but one of them was a good friend of mine. He's like, no, you don't have to get him. I'm like, are you sure? Like, if you really want to, because he like referred me 5 people. So like, I'm trying to at least give him something back. He refused. Finally, he let me give him an Amazon gift card for $100. But they did it made me a bunch of money. I'm like, I'm trying to at least do something back. Most time, if I say that, people don't refer back because
Well,
now instead of it relationships, it's transactional,
I had
and
a
it doesn't feel
client
right.
back in 2017 who was referred to me. No fee was ever discussed. Nothing was ever said. They said, "Rob, this is a great client. Have at it." And this guy's paying me a lot of money,
Hmm.
75, $80,000 a year.
Yeah.
And this person found out, "Oh, Rob, you're making all this money. Can you give me a referral fee?" What? Well, it doesn't have to be big, but you've been working for him for down 2 years, and I just found out how much money you're making. You should, at least give me 10%. Really?
No.
For how? And we're going back what, 2 years? And so they wanted like $15,000.
Hmm.
I'm like, no, uh-uh. And then because I didn't do it, they badmouthed me on social.
Yeah. But here's the thing, they never set the groundwork.
Yeah,
If they would have said, "Hey, Rob, I got a referral for you. I want 10%." That's fair. I have a friend, I won't mention him, but that's what he does. He refers people. It's his business. I know that going in, if he refers someone, he wants a cut. Cool. If I know that's the rules in the game, that's totally fine. But if I referred you someone and you're making 400,000 or 500,000 off of them, I didn't say I wanted a referral fee. That would be dumb of me to come up and say, Rob, you now owe me $40,000 because you made 400,000. That's not how this works.
mm-mm,
This is why you put everything up front. Most time I do put things in writing. I don't call it a contract and say, hey, this is just an agreement. We're going to work on this. This is what I'm going to do. These are the services. These are the deliverables. This is not a contract. You're not bound here. You can pay me X. It's for this amount. If I do the services, you're not getting paid back. That's how this works because it's a training. I can't get my training back because you decide you don't want it now. But I just lay it out for them.
yeah,
But yeah, no, people need to communicate. This underhanded, oh, well, what if you only made 200 bucks off it? Was he going to come back and cry because you didn't give him 20 bucks? No, he wouldn't care. That's just greed.
yeah,
That's just
yeah,
like the wrong intent. I
yeah.
want you
But
to be successful.
yeah, I want to ensure that all my clients are successful, and I will answer their questions. They'll text me. I'll pick up the phone. I'll call. Whatever it is.
Mhm.
But I'm going to give it to you straight, and that's how it is. You don't like my answers. That's another thing. But the thing is, I have the experience. I know what works. I know what's a scam. I've written tons of books. Again, I think I know a few things. If you don't want to listen, that's fine, but pay me for my time.
Yeah. That's what we should call this episode. Pay me for my time.
We could do that. Anyway, how do people find you?
Sure. The easiest way to find me, well, there's two. One, if you just go to the Joseph Graham Show, type that in, it would show up on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, you name it. And then on most of my socials, it's Joe Graham, real REAL, because there's someone on Instagram that has Joe Graham with 5 followers but won't give it up. So I had to put something else at the end. But yeah, it's me. I don't have an admin, so you reach out there. I also have a group on Facebook called the Joseph Graham Show. You can jump on there. LinkedIn is my name, Joseph Graham. See, that's one part. One time I used Joseph, but besides that, yeah, I'm open. Questions, whatever you guys want to do.
Whatever we want to do.
Doesn't mean I'll reply. It just means whatever you want to do. Like I had a guy reach out to me and say, "Send me your email." I'm like, why? And he goes, "Send me your email." I'm like, why? He goes, "I want to be on your podcast." I'm like, "This is not how this works." Block.
Mhm.
Like, all right. So there's some stuff like if it's a legit question, like, hey, how do I work with you? Or hey, I have a question on sales. Cool. I will like maybe give them a little teaser taste and then we're gonna move you into the client zone, right? But yeah, how you approach someone matters.
And there we'll end it with that. And for everyone, see you guys on the next episode. Adios.